Hello, I'm Ryan, and welcome to this latest episode of Foxes Unleashed. Um, I'm just reacting um, to, what is the sad state of affairs that's going on in Leicester City, and just I'm just gonna do um, my views on it. Um, um, Obviously, we had a game Tuesday night against Southampton at home. We were 3-0 up at half time. Well taken goals from the Casa, um, Daka, and then Vataru in the first half. But then, as we normally see, whenever we concede, we crumble. Second half was just a complete collapse, particularly in the last 15 minutes. I mean, it's the second time I can remember it ever happening to our side. I can remember the the one against Wolves back in 2003. We were 3-0 at half time and we lost that 4-3 down at Molineux at the time. Um, that was under Mickey Adams at the time and when we were in the Prem. But my God, I think this is even worse than that. Seriously, I, it was beyond comprehension. I mean, we've seen us put in poor 45-minute performances this season in particular. But I just think this sums up the group as a whole. Whenever we concede, the team crumbles, as I said before. Um, uh, yeah, it's a sad state of affairs. I mean, obviously, we're playing them again, Southampton again tomorrow in an FA Cup tie down at St Mary's. Um, we're in a position where, at the moment, we're just um, attempting to survive in the league. We're down in fourth and bottom, bring up the table in a bit. Um, but I've got to say, I think always the other Cubs not the priority really. I'll be making changes to be honest. Give other players a chance to impress. Um, like um, like Duran Richards, for example, Louis Page, um, Aluko. Give them a chance. Give them a game from the start. Jeremy Mongo, the other, give him a start. What have you got to lose? Let's just do that. Give Victor Christensen a start. He needs a minute, having come back from his injury. I mean, Luke Thomas needs to come out the side. He really, really does. I know Victor Christensen isn't that much better but at least give him a run. At least give him a start. Give him. I wouldn't say the whole 90 minutes, but give him a start. Playing for 60 to 70 minutes or something like that, if that's the case, and then take him off. But but think I just don't think it's a priority. I don't care what the result is. I think it's more likely. I think we'll end up losing. It wouldn't surprise me knowing the fact that we can't defend. So so yeah, I won't be too disheartened if we go out of the FA Cup. It's just not the priority really. The priority really is to stay in the league, to stay in the championship. Um, which is crazy to say that, by the way, considering um, considering how bad it's been and the fact that we had a points deduction, 6 points, by the way, which, to be honest, I think we can take that really because we all thought it was going to be even more even more points. We thought it was going to be, I'd say, 9 points. I thought it was going to be a bit more than that, 9 points. But in fact, it was 6. I'm alright with it, but still, it has a detrimental effect. Anyway, um, at the moment, we're 21st in the league, fourth from bottom, which um, is so poor. We're one of the worst form teams in the division. Um, so yeah, I just gotta say, I need to make this point. Yes, we've got the commercial director now. I'm surprised the club haven't announced that officially, from what I know, which I don't think is strange. But we've got the commercial director sorted out in bringing in Russell Jones, who left Wolves back in the summer last year. Um, so he's brought in mainly to do more of mainly to do with the business side, and that's to be in charge of the pop, mainly the commercial side, and mainly the regards to the revenue and the brand in terms of the global brand sponsorships. You know it. That's probably, I think, that is what he's wanting for to be in charge of that. Um, in the well, the now moving on to my point, because I was about to allude to this, but we've gone under nearly 3 weeks. It's 19 days since we've sacked Marti Cifuentes, and yet we still don't have a manager. Andy King's now going to be in charge for the 4th game. It's not fair on him. Why? I mean, can someone please tell me why on earth you're throwing Andy King into the lion's den, if that is the saying? Why are you chucking him in at the deep end? It's not fair on the poor bloke. He's not experienced yet. He's just, at the minute, he's almost like, well, to be fair, he's learning his on the job. He's doing his coaching badges, and he's not ready. He might be a very good manager one day, but he's not ready for the role yet. And yet we're still not hearing. We're still searching around for a manager. I mean, look at Nottingham Forest, for example. Yeah, they sacked Sean Dyche into midnight on the Wednesday night, straight after the Wolves game, and within 24, 48 hours, they've got a replacement in Vitor Pereira. I mean, you've got to have a succession plan. Always have a succession plan. If you're looking to sack somebody, you've got to have somebody lined up ready. That's what a well-run club does. I know Forest are in a bad position themselves in the Premier League at the moment, but at least when they're sacking somebody, they've got someone ready, lined up to take the job on. But with us, it takes an eternity because there's no succession plan at this club. There's nothing, absolutely nothing, and this will be one of the reasons why it will cost us our place in the championship potentially. It's poor planning. We did this back in towards the end of the 22-23 season when we got relegated from the Prem the first time, right? It took us 2 weeks after till we brought someone in, after we sacked Brendan. That again, poor planning. We allowed the likes of Sadler and Stowe, I believe it was, to take caretaker charge against Villa and Bournemouth at home. almost like chucking away 2 games that would have been vital for us, that could have kept us in the league. But we didn't have someone in place until after those 2 games. It was pointless. I mean, it's poor planning. You've got to have somebody in place if you're planning on sacking that certain person in the dugout. Because otherwise, it's pointless. What's the point of sacking the geezer in Marti Cifuentes? What's the point in doing it if you don't have a succession plan in place? It's pointless. So it begs the question, why do it? Why do it? I know it wasn't going particularly great under Marti. We didn't understand that. We knew that. But where's the succession plan? I mean, come on. That's not how you operate as a football club. It isn't. And we still, by the way, don't have a technical director in place. I mean, Tom did that interview back in November. I think that took place before we played Norwich, and he came out saying that we're looking to appoint a new technical director and all that during that interview, and yet we're sitting here about a couple of months later, and we still don't have one. I mean, it's I'm beginning to question: are we going to bring in a technical director or what? Is there any truth or anything that seems to come out of his mouth or something? Or is he just like barefaced lying to us? I mean, I'm like selling a pipe dream or something, because I'm not sure what to believe. I mean, it just. And in the second interview that obviously he did with Owen Pomerakin, for example, right, from Radio Leicester. I mean, he came out with a certain quote saying, don't worry, we'll get promoted next season." That particular quote, "Don't worry, we'll get promoted next season." Well, this way, it's going to be from the one. Where, I mean, you said you were going to do all those things. Also, communicate a little bit more. You're going to communicate a little bit more, and you're going to be at the games. He's attended 2 games since the first interview. Right? So I'm not. I could be wrong here, but I just don't see a guy that seems to be fully committed. I could be wrong. Certain people can tell me if it's misled, but I just don't feel it that he's fully committed. Um, so yeah, I just don't get it. But when after all these promises, it's like it's just coming to absolutely nothing really. But who knows? Who knows? It could change within maybe things can change within the next couple months, but I just don't have that much confidence. I'm at a point where, like most of the fans have been feeling now, and that is, I think it's time for Top to sell the football club. I've reached that point now. I after that game Tuesday night, I'm just thinking, just sell Top. That's where I'm at now. I'm just numb to everything. I've been feeling that way pretty much since January last year. I just felt numb to it. I've not felt any excitement about approaching a game or whatever. I haven't been to a game since January last year, and that was Crystal Palace when we lost 2-0. Haven't been to a game since. And why? Because because I don't have any confidence under this ownership that they're going to turn this round. And after the January transfer window shut at that time, I said we would relegated from the Premier League, and I was right. And the way we're going, I can see the same thing happening because I don't see any fight within the players. I don't see anything changing under this ownership, and the longer this keeps going on with this ongoing uncertainty behind the scenes and what's going on the field, we're going to be relegated. And also, you've got Blackburn. I'll bring this up. Blackburn Rovers just appointed Michael O'Neill to the end of the season, right? They sacked their manager something like a week ago. They've got their man in place, and they're in the relegation battle with us. They're behind us on goal difference, and they play the championship game of the weekend against QPR. Get something from that, we'll be in the bottom three. That's the team we're competing with to survive in this league. I mean, honestly, it's just horrible, 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 horrible. And you know the worst thing about it is, you've got the likes of Nottingham Forest fans and the Coventry City fans, even for that matter, that are feeling sorry for us. They're not bantering us anymore. They're actually feeling sorry for us. I've been chatting to one of the, as specified Nottingham Forest supporter, I won't mention, but on social media, and that Forest fan is feeling sorry for me, and that's what makes it even worse. That they're actually feeling sorry for us, and that's even worse than the banter. Because I can take the banter. It happens in football. It happens. It goes with the territory. You have to take it on the chin. We had the good times and we've had the bad. But when you've got your rival fans like Coventry and Nottingham Forest that coming out to us fans feeling sorry for us, that's an even worse feeling. That is an even worse feeling. Listen, they may not get the glory times that we did have, like winning the Premier League, for that matter. They're not gonna get that, right? But at least they can look forward. At least with their clubs, right? At least they have a bit of ambition and looking forward that they can get that supporters can get behind. But we don't have that. We used to have it, but we don't anymore. And why? Because it has been badly run. Ever since the sad loss of Convichai back in 2018, despite the initial success we did have after that, slowly but surely, we have been nowhere near the same football club since. Nowhere near it. We had the initial success winning the FA Cup, covered top 5 finishes in the Premier League, so good European nights. But after that, you saw the cracks appearing towards it. You can clearly see, especially after the FA Cup triumph, things started to change. The recruitment model began changing in particular, and it's not good enough. And I mean, John Wilkins out of his depth in his job in his role. Why is he still there? I mean, come on, why is he still in that role? It's ridiculous. Director of football. Yes, we're part of the good times, mate. Mainly under Convichai. Always, and the reason why I want Todd to sell is because his days are numbered. Yes, we are very, very grateful, and we always will be so thankful to you and your dad that they can reach out for the great memories you've given us, right? We will always, as fans, we will cherish and remember them. Winning the Premier League 10 years ago against the odds. Unbelievable, right? After the great escape the season before, and season before that, winning the championship, getting back up to the Premier League, right? And then the Champions League nights that I will always will remember for the rest of my life, right? Seeing, seeing incredible victories at home that we didn't lose at home in the Champions League. Magnificent, right? It gave me the best memories ever that I would never ever forget. It, it was memorable and it will stay with me for the rest of my life because at least I can look back and think, yeah, um, and look back with great fondness, right? And obviously the FA Cup triumph, seeing our club win the FA Cup for the first time, brilliant, magnificent, right? Seeing my team, see, me seeing my team playing at Wembley. I went to a Community Shield game against Manchester United a couple of months after winning the league, 2016, right? We may have lost that game, but I enjoyed that experience. It was such hot conditions that day, glorious weather, but even though it was seriously hot temperatures, but my goodness, I enjoyed it. It was fantastic watching it, and at the watching it at Wembley Stadium, watching my team. It was brilliant, magnificent. European nights in Europa League had some very good results. Yes, there was some bad ones along with it, but enjoyed those European nights. Enjoyed it. And in the Conference League semi-final against PSV, I mean, the quarterfinal. Sorry, we beat them. We beat PSV in the Conference League quarterfinal to get to the semi-final. Fantastic it was. The way we won. That gave us a hope that we can win that, our first European trophy of any magnitude, right? It was memorable, right? Okay, it wasn't the biggest, but, but it gave us a great chance. And okay, it didn't come off in the end, but yet still, there's the last bit of great memories that I could always remember, right? But then, obviously, after that, the rapid decline came, and the financial problems obviously came, and after that, we've been sliding further away. And despite the initial success that we had under Maresca, getting back up to the Premier League, and we thank him for that. But it just papered over the cracks because we were still paying ridiculous salaries to players that they should never ever be on. And this is where John Wilkins to blame because he negotiates the contracts and Top signs them off. It's embarrassing. I mean, the likes of Harry Winks, 90k a week, Cody when he was here, 70k a week, that rose to 100k when we got promoted to the Prem. It was stupid. Absolutely stupid. I mean, it's embarrassing. You do not, in this league, pay players on over 50k. It's stupid mismanagement financially. It's poor. You can't operate like that at all. It has to be done properly. It's got to be below 50k. When you're looking to spend or sign a player, for example, you don't pay them above 50k. I mean, you don't see Brighton operate that way. You don't see Brentford operate that way. And they're in the Premier League, by the way. You don't see those clubs pay above the limit. It's and that's why those clubs are well run. You don't see Bournemouth do that because they operate sensibly and they recruit better. But we don't because they think we could get away with paying big salaries. Yeah, that may be so if, say, for example, the stadium expansion had been done, which would have definitely made a significant difference to the match day income and regards to the revenue and the commercial, let alone the commercial revenue, right? It would have made a significant difference. Had that been done, then I would totally understand why those salaries would have been paid on certain players, right? I would have understood it a little bit more, right? Because you look at the revenue, had the stadium expansion been done, it would have made sense a little bit. But without it, it never made any sense. It seriously didn't. It's all good doing the training ground, but at the minute, ever since the training ground's been done, it's almost like players don't seem to. I just think the effort in training. I know the training intensity seems to be higher, but I just think when you go into the training ground, I think it's too nice. It's like centre parks. Like when you go it's like when you go to a hotel spa. Like it's very very comfortable. Oh, that's nice. Oh, this is good. Oh, I'm loving this. This is a life. This is perfect. I can have a life here. And there's like when there's a golf course, 9-hole golf course down the training ground as well. It's like a gift to you. Like it's so soft. It's so nice that there's no proper consequences to it if you don't meet certain standards. It's That's what I think it's become since that training ground's been done. I'm not saying, by the way, that it shouldn't have been done because it needed updating, obviously. But ever since we moved there, I just think the standards that go into the standards in the training ground are not being met. And I'm talking about consequences if you don't do certain things correctly. And I don't think they have. I don't and I don't know um, about what goes on behind the scenes. I'll never know, right? I'll be the first to admit. But I just see what I sense looking at this whole thing is that, which because we're on the back of what we saw, I would say mainly last season, I think. Players seeming to get away with whatever they want. And on the training ground, it's like Vestergaard, for example, bringing a dog to the training ground. It's stupid. I mean, come on. I mean, you cannot operate that way. Why? I mean, I'm not blaming Yannick for that, but I blame the club for obviously allowing the dog to come into the training ground. That the blame lies at the club for that, really, not Yannick. It's it it's stupid, really. Um, I mean, Harry Winks as well. His attitude is a disgrace. I mean, on the day of relegation, he was out out with his missus and all of that, and instead of being with his teammates when the club's on the brink of being relegated. And and it's those little things that ignite the fan base because they're too comfortable on the salaries that they're getting paid by the club. They're too comfortable, thinking they just can just do whatever they like, no consequence. And that for me is inexcusable. And you need to get rid of those people, of those high earners, urgently. They urgently need to be let go. I'm talking about the likes of Winks, Daka, Yannick, well, Faith, um, well, Fast, and Jordan Ayew. It's you need to get rid of these guys. They're not going to be part of the future. Dico Doverweed's the other. You need to get rid. Because they're not going to be the future of this club. They're not. Ricardo needs to be let go. I'm sorry to say, but he's no longer nowhere near the same player as he used to be anymore. He's not, and he's not a captain either. I mean, the mistakes that he has made this season. I mean, come on. I mean, the Birmingham game, for example, straight after the start of the game, the third to the fourth minute, dwells on the ball and loses and gives the ball away straight to Osman, and the ball's in the back of our net, and straight away you will go down. These little things, they never learn, and they're not going to because there's no consequence to pathetic performances. There's just none because they just keep playing. All they'll do is they'll play the next game. Same with Luke Thomas. The amount of times I keep seeing this guy make mistake after mistake this season, he is absolutely shit. Nowhere near good enough. And the audacity of this club to give him a 4-year contract when we could have easily have sold him back in January last year to Hoffenheim, but yet they reject that and they gave him a 4-year contract. It's stupid. What benefit are you getting from doing that? I mean, he's making so many mistakes, and yet he keeps playing. Okay, Christensen has been injured, but the opportunity was there in January to sign a player on loan that could play there. Harry Amas, the chance was there to get him in after his loan at Sheffield Wednesday had finished and gone back to Man United. Why didn't we go all over it? Why didn't we go all over this and get him? Right? Because that was the perfect fit. He would have definitely been given plenty of game time for us, right, for the second half of the season. And had we done that deal, then Luke Thomas, I'm pretty damn sure, would have come straight out of the team. And Amas would have been walking straight into that team. Right? And the fans would totally have been on board with it, including myself. But yet, what the club do? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And yet, they just let him go to Norwich, and now he's injured. Thanks a lot. Well done. Thank you for leaving us short in that position. Yes, Christensen's bad fit, but it needed sorting out. It needed sorting. Anyways, I listened to the reaction from the fans as well during the week. Um, Luke in particular on blue tinted glasses, he's taken a break from the channel doing watch alongs because he's completely had enough, and I don't blame him. Because it's obviously affecting a little bit of his mental health. and he wants to step away from it all. And I totally 100% support his decision. That's what he wants to do. Because there are better things in life than going than watching the football. I mean, it's just a game, right? I've seen bad times and I've seen the good, as I said earlier. But yeah, the last thing you want is for it to affect your mental health. It's a hugely important thing, right? I know how it feels because I felt it a couple of years ago, right? I was not in a good place. I was not in a good place back then, right? And and Luke wants to do that, then that's his choice, and I respect it enormously. So Luke, if you're listening to this, you've got my backing on that, right? Now, and obviously, I listen to likes of Locks, Steve have been saying as well. Even those guys are at the point where they're absolutely fed up. They're fed up. Yeah, and fair play to them, but he's so committed, particularly Locks on his channel, blue tinted glasses, being consistent at his job, and I've been so lucky to have gone onto his channel, and he's a great bloke, right? We'll always have a bit of banter, a little bit of a along with the rest of the lads on the WhatsApp group and all of that. Yeah, I I'll admit myself, I can be a little bit cheesed off sometimes, a little bit reactionary, but it happens, right? But obviously they don't really mean it. It's just a bit of banter. It's just a bit of fun, a little bit. They don't really mean it or take any offense. I mean, Alex has obviously explained that to me a bit. Um, yeah, but yeah, obviously Steve's listened to him after last night's Tuesday night's performance, and he was so angry, man. Angriest I ever seen him, I ever heard him. Really, it was like wow. I mean, I mean, he goes to every single game pretty much, home and away, and yeah, and he's at a breaking point where he doesn't want to renew, and I wouldn't blame him if he didn't, and because that's the state of where we are as fans at the minute. We're just absolute. I mean, Knox used the word right um, a, a couple of days after. It's we are feeling so numb to everything that even when we were winning 3-0, I didn't celebrate any of the goals that we scored. I didn't celebrate because I know what this group are like. That whenever we concede, we just crumbled. And it wasn't. I wasn't shocked, even though I did react a little bit angrily at the capitulations, specifically the third and the fourth that went in. Um, but at the same time, I wasn't completely shocked. Wasn't completely shocked because I could sense it coming. I could have sensed it coming because these players do not have the appetite for the fight. Um, it, and they said it all. And it gets to the point where fans are thinking, why should we bother going to games? What's the point of watching this lot? It's 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 sad, and it's heartbreaking because we shouldn't feel like that. But this is where the fans are. Oh, sorry, I'm just giving an eye on the Chelsea game. They just had a chance, but that's where they've got us to. Um, the club and the players. where they pushed as fans. How can we support this? How? How can we back it? I mean, there's obviously talks um, about unite for change that I saw on social media, and there's major talk about about this protest again, which is going to be, I think it's going to be a major um, protest. I think because obviously the last talk of that was last year before we played Arsenal, but it wasn't really that great of a protest. It was just a minor one. It wasn't that drastic at the time, but I think this time, I think it's going to be a heck of a lot more people that are going to be taking part in this protest this time around, because the fans have had enough of this ownership. They want, they, including me, are after change. I'm saying King Power out now. They've had their time. They've been, well, always, like I said before, always thankful for the job that they've done. For, I'd say, for 75% of it. But unfortunately, it comes to an end. And I think this is the time now where it comes to an end and it's time for them to sell up. It's time because we are going nowhere, unfortunately, the longer this goes on. I've fully been in support of the protest. I know, well, obviously, I'm not going to be, even though I'm not going to be joining in the protest, but I would definitely 100%, without a shadow of a doubt, be in major support of the protest, major support of it, because I'm King Power out, as I said before, and I definitely want change, 100%. I just I'm just doing it my. The reason why I'm not joining in is because I'm doing it my way. This is not. It's not because I'm not an idiot of saying I'm not like I don't want change in that. I'll keep out just there and all that. I'm not that person, right? Let's just get that straight. I'm in the camp of wanting change, keep power out, and will be totally in support of the protest. And if it means doing that to force them into setting up and leave the club, then so be it. Um, so yeah, I think it's time for them to yeah, it's time to sell. Top, I'm afraid you've had your time. Um, uh, yeah, let's do one more thing before I end this. By the way, and let's look at the table. Let me just bring that up. Let me just bring it up for you. Okay. Okay. Uh, let's see. There you go. So this is the championship table as it stands. Currently, Middlesbrough and top of the table by 2 points. They play Coventry. My God, that's going to be an interesting encounter. Borough have won the last 6 games. Um, this is where we are currently. This is where we are. We're one of the worst form teams in the league. Sheffield Wednesday have already pretty much done and dusted. They're relegated now. So you got Oxford on 28, Blackburn on 32, Will on 32, Portsmouth on 33, West Brom 34. I think it's fair to say I think from Charlton and Sheffield United and Norwich, I think they'll be okay. Those other three, I think they'll be fine. Um, and I think these 2 relegation spots, I think it's going to come down from 19th downwards, from West Bromwich Albion downwards. Um, that's the state we're in at the moment, I'm afraid. Um, yeah, and if you look at Portsmouth, they've got 3 games in hand. 3 games in hand. And they could be finding themselves away from the relegation battle if they get some good results during those games in hand. They could find themselves pulling away, and all of a sudden it'll be 4 teams. Um, so at the moment, it's more likely it's going to be between West Brom, us, Blackburn, and Oxford United for those 2 relegation spots. Um, Obviously, West Brom have not been in good form. They've not sure they got a new manager. I'm not sure. Yeah, I've not seen that, but we know Blackburn have got Michael O'Neill in to the end of the season, as I've said earlier. Um, but yeah, we're just above it on goal difference. But that will change tomorrow if Blackburn avoid defeat to QPR. So look at that. They've scored 27 goals. My God. Gee whiz. That's not good. If you're Blackburn. But don't worry, because yeah, Oxford are down there as well. They've not scored enough, but they were able to do so against us, which was a gift. We can't defend. We've gone 26 games in the league without a clean sheet. I mean, our next league games are away to Stoke. We don't keep a clean sheet in that. That equals the record in the second tier from a club perspective for the most games in the second tier of English football for Leicester without a clean sheet since 1948 to 49. That's appalling. That's embarrassing. I mean, that goes back to just at the end of the Second World War. I mean, that's embarrassing. So, so for me, looking at that, the amount of points we've got, I think out of the next remaining 14 games, I mean, let's look at the fixtures that we've got. Obviously, Southampton in the club, that's a free hit. Stoke, then Middlesbrough, those 2 away. I can't see us getting that many points from those. Norwich at home, that's going to be a struggle. Norwich have picked up some form lately. Ipswich away, that's a tough. The next 4 league games. That's going to be a struggle. Ipswich away, 3 in the next 4 away from home. I can't see us doing anything away from home. We are so poor on our travels, terrible, and I can't see us getting that many points in those next 4. I just can't see it. We don't win any of the next 4, I think we're in serious trouble. I think we're in serious danger of going down. Any of them, if we don't win any of the next four, I think will be curtains. Because then we've got Bristol City, QPR, the next two home games after that. Let's see, Watford away, then Preston at home, Sheffield Wednesday away. I think we'll win that. Swansea at home, then Portsmouth away, then it's Hull, who are doing very well in the so far this season. They're in the playoffs currently at the moment. Then it's Millwall. Then last game of the season, and this could potentially be the relegation decider. Potentially away at Blackburn on the exact same day that we won the Premier League 10 years ago. On the exact same day 10 years ago, won the Premier League. That could be a relegation decider. That could send us down to League One potentially. Hopefully it's not the case, but who knows. So for me, I think we need to win, I think 5 games out of the remaining 14. And then if we do that, I think we'll probably survive relegation, I think. It doesn't mean that it's going to mend all of a sudden everything's going to be fine regards to the club itself, because it won't be. We ain't stupid. So I think we need so I think we need 5 more wins, I think. And let me just turn this off. Give me a second. Oh, there you go. That's it. Yeah, that's just where we are. So I think for me, I think we need to win 5 more games out of those remaining 14, and if we do that, I think we'll survive. May get a couple of draws, even we might get a couple of draws, but I think we need to win 5 out of those 14. I think, because if we don't, then I think we're in serious trouble. I think we'll end up getting relegated if we fail to meet it. But yeah, we're gonna have to see for ourselves, aren't we? But I'm gonna have to. But the question is, are the players going to be up for the fight? Because from what I've seen and the evidence of what I've seen, the answer, I'm afraid, I have to say is no. Because I've seen, I mean, the stats that I saw the other week, I think this is a couple of weeks before Marti got the sack, we're down near the bottom for distance confidence sprints. Now, I'm sorry, you need to be putting the effort in. When you're in the relegation battle, you need to be. That's the least you should be doing. Put tackles in. Be aggressive. I mean, and press from the front. You've got to do that. And throw your bodies on the line when players are taking a shot at your goal. Do that. That's what you need to be doing. Because if you don't do it, especially when the going gets tough, for example, as they weren't doing on Tuesday night, and certain other games, then unfortunately, you're going to come unstuck. You're going to get beat, I'm afraid. You're not going to win games. It's that simple. So, at least when I look at the likes of Oxford, okay, they're down second from bottom, but at least when they played us, they were up for the fight. At least they were scrapping. making life difficult when we played Charlton. At least they were up for the fight. They were prepared to scrap. They may not have had much quality, but they're at least prepared to dig in, fight, and scrap. That's what you got to do. Because if you don't do it, then you've got no chance. I'm sick of this tippy-tappy football, trying to play from the back and all that kind of thing. Stop it, man. You need to toughen up and be aggressive, be robust, and no matter hook or by crook, you've got to do it. You've got to do the nasty bits and be prepared to take a whack. Because if you don't do it, I'm sorry to say, but you are not going to have a chance of winning games of football. End of. So, yeah, I think that's well summed up. But also listen to Matt Piper. This is the last bit I will say before I go. I know I mentioned it before, but I listened to what Matt Piper said on Tuesday night, and my God, he was absolutely furious in his post-match analysis after the game last on Tuesday night. Goodness me, I listened to it, and I absolutely loved the passion. The rants he came out with, and scathing about the team when he talked about adversity. Loved it, absolutely loved it. It's coming from the heart, coming from the passion. Now, he spoke there with more passion than what the players were showing on the pitch. I love to see that. This is what we not want to hear. Former players speaking now commentators or journalists speaking their mind, saying it for how it is. Love it, right? This is what we want to hear. Love it. It's what it's about. Not scared to say how they feel. It's what we want. I'm not scared to say how I feel. I'm doing it now. Doing this episode. I'm brave enough to say how I feel. You got to do it. You got to do it, because otherwise, I mean, you're almost like you're accepting it. So do it. Just watching match of the day, the whole Chelsea game, and it's actually snowing there. Good luck in them conditions. So, yeah, I just think when a former players coming out with that stuff, I just think that's damning indictment on the club. Um, so yeah, absolutely loved it. I tell you what, I know I said I would go, but I promise this is the final bit. This is the final bit, because I forgot to do this. By the way, the final bit. Let's see, because I've got this lineup builder. This is for the Southampton game tomorrow, so I'm going to do that. Okay. Right. So, right. This is my Leicester City 11. I'm going to do it for the Southampton game tomorrow. 4-2-3-1 is the system I think is most likely to be most likely to be. Um, Now, in goal, I like to see Vietes given a chance. I can't believe he hasn't really featured. I'd like to see this goalkeeper play. Why? I'd like to see him feature. See what he's about. What we got to lose trying it. Okay? Because we haven't seen him play a minute. So I'd like to see him given this opportunity. The centre backs, I'm going to go for Nelson. And I'm going to go for Lascelles. So I think that's probably, I think, the best centre back partnership we've got that we can field. I think. The Lascelles obviously came on towards the end of the last 50 minutes of the game against Southampton in the week. Um, so that's the start of the centre backs I'm going to go for. Now the full backs, I'm going to go for Luco. At right back. So he needs to be given his chance, Luco. I can't believe he hasn't had a start in this team, especially in the midweek games. I can't get it. Ricardo needs to be taken out of the team. I mean, come on, his his best days are gone. He needs to be rested. I mean, I like to see this young lad given a chance, so he can get some minutes into his legs. I mean, what have you got to lose trying it? Just play him. Every fan has been screaming out for him to play. So, come on, time to be brave and do it. So, left back, I'm going to go for Christensen. There you go. I think he needs to be given minutes. Now he's back from his injury. Because Luke Thomas needs to come out. He needs to come out of the team for his sake. Because most of the fan base are on his case, obviously. Rightfully so. So that for me it will be my back four and the goalkeeper for tomorrow. The midfield players, I'm going to go for Skip, Oliver Skip, and Harry Winks as the double pivot. I think it's going to be the same midfield for this game because Awevo can't play because he's on loan from that club, Southampton. Mukasa can't play. I'll come on to Mukasa in a bit. Yeah, I think Chowdhury is out injured. So the only one realistically, James is out injured as well, but he's not going to be back for some time. So Winks is the only one that can realistically start. So I don't think the midfield pivot is going to change. Now the number 10, well, Dean Cordova-Reid's out suspended. Now Bacasa can't play this one because he's cup tied because he played for Manchester City in the third round. So that was a real shame when I found that out. So unfortunately, it's going to have to be Louis Page. It's going to have to be Page for me that plays there, in my opinion. So I think that's what more likely to be the case. Now, I think I'm going to go for Monga. I'm going to go for Monga on the left hand side. Um, I think he's declared fit from what I know. Um, so that's good news. So I've West Mavididi for this one, and I'll give Jeremy Mongo a star and see what he can do. And on the right hand side, I'm going to go for your Juan Richards, who I'd like to see him be given a star and see what he can do as well. Give Pataro a rest because we need him for the rest of the league matches. So because the Epic Cup is not a bit major priority, so I'd be more inclined to to play Richards, I think, for this one. Um, and for centre forward, I'm going to go Daku again. I'm going to go for Patson Taka once again because I just can't bear to watch Jordan Ayew, even though he was in my mind, but I just can't watch him putting on Leicester shirt ever again. He is so bad. He can't he can't um he can't win. He's not. I just don't classify him as a number nine. He's just not. He hinders our attack every time we played him. He's not good enough. I'm sorry, but he's shit. So that's why I know Daka's not as great either, but at least he can press. He played well in the Southampton game in midweek. He was very, very good. Right? He can press the ball and close players down. At least he can do that. He may be shit when it comes to actual finishing, but but at least I'm prepared. At least I'm prepared. I would say to just play him for the rest of the season off one, right? Because I think he offers a little bit more than Jordan Ayew's ever gonna ever offer, in my opinion. So I go with this. So yeah, that's my so yeah that right there is my starting 11 for the Southampton game tomorrow. Okay, so there you go. Hang on a minute, that's better. Yeah, I have to do. Sorry, when I have to do use OBS, I have to reactivate the camera and that kind of thing. So yeah, so I think that's that for tonight. Um, I hope you've enjoyed listening to me tonight. Um, so yeah. So that's the end of the episode of Foxes Unleashed. Um, Thank you for listening to me. Um, if you haven't seen it, I'll I'll send out the link and put it on Twitter or X, wherever it is, so you can watch it. So until then, catch you soon, and hopefully, hope, hope for the best that we can regarding Leicester. So yeah, until then, catch you later, and hopefully do another episode very soon, and you'll know about it. So